Hello, welcome to Captain Reboot. My name is Kasey. We are wrapping up our playthrough of Tyranny of Dragons, and in this session, I get to sit back and drink while I make the players tell me what's going on, which is awesome. The players have made their way all the way through the Horde of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat modules, as well as several others I threw in their way. It's taken us about 2 years to get here, but I am happy to say the party has triumphed. Tiamat will not be returning to the material plane. Her cult has been disbanded, but all is not super okay yet, because the party was able to, along with other techniques, banish Tiamat back to Avernus by removing the dragon masks, 5 items of power, from the ritual circle. Those masks had been used to call Tiamat's castle from the hells to this plane. Removing them sent the castle plummeting back to Avernus, Tiamat along with it. The party has just managed to make it out the door, the temple wavering and then vanishing behind them. Unfortunately, the party was, at the time, in the caldera of a dormant volcano. That volcano just had half a mountain inserted into it, and then that half a mountain violently removed a short while later. That has caused a bit of instability. The more sensitive among the party have noticed that rumbling in the stone coming up through their feet, juddering the bones of dragons laying all about them. Down below, they realize that an eruption is imminent. Maybe they have a few minutes, maybe they have an hour, but the magma will flow. The party made their way to the caldera through several lava tubes that the cultists had been using, those on the southeastern side of the gigantic map that they can now see. The cultists to the north and west are still scurrying about, and sign can be seen from inside those tunnels that they are still active. That area of tunnel was an assignment given over to several lizard folk who were to act as the other prong of this two-pronged attack. Their main goal was to silence the Drakhorn. Unfortunately, that Drakhorn continues to sound. So, what I'm going to ask the party to do is to begin narrating what they are planning to do over the next couple of minutes. They have an erupting volcano to deal with, potentially a side quest to deal with the Drakhorn. Maybe they're going to start helping out with the fight going on above, because outside this caldera, an enormous hurricane-like storm has been summoned. Elementals rage, as do cultists, sending huge mud flows down the side of this now active volcano. Those mud flows have been bludgeoning the crud out of the forces of good that they have gathered. So there are quite a number of wounded scattered about. In the air above, chromatic and metallic dragons do battle, though the chromatics seem to be attuned to that their queen has been defeated and now are breaking away and scattering to the 4 corners of the sky. It seems they're ready to run. The metallics give chase for a little bit, but then they have that good nature built into them, and maybe they want to help out with those who might be caught in the calamity. So, party members, what I'm going to ask you to do is roll yourself onto initiative, and for the first time in the campaign, I'm going to reverse the order, and that's going to determine who gets to narrate first and decide what you do. I will ask you to please introduce yourself. Give us a little idea of what you look like now coming out the other side of the battle, and then start telling me what you're doing. If you head to areas that are as of yet unexplored, I'll be happy to tell you what you find while you're in there. Solid. You have rolled below 1 more than any character I've ever seen. You're doing better than Sean does.
Hey, man, going first. Who needs it?
You know, you say
You
that.
are going first.
You say that, but you are.
No, I'm going first. That's fine.
All right. So let's see. Now we are currently short 2 players. We are hoping they will join us in a little bit.
Yeah, they aren't even on Discord. They are offline in Discord, so they would not get these pings unless there are.
So
Like,
we are hoping whatever is delaying them releases them shortly. But in the meanwhile, let's see what's going on. So it seems like Joey, I do get to ask you first, as the temple fades away and you find yourself in this caldera surrounded by bone. What do you look like and what are you doing? Feel free to lean on the other players and involve them in your ploys. You each get the spotlight for a little while, though, and we can do a little time traveling as necessary.
Okay. So Joey comes out of the event. Let's call it the event. Looking pretty much exactly the same as he did when he went in. There might be a little bit of wizard blood on him, because like some of them went spat, but nothing has happened to Joey in that time in there. And I'm sure he's looking at Mord like, damn, dude, you got fucked up. Sorry, Mord. That's on the other side.
No, it's okay. I'll describe what happened when it gets to my turn.
Joey is alongside Elmar Velos, still riding. Kuhloe had gone outside of the ritual area to grab dragon masks, and Joey had appropriated the blue one and attempted to feed it to his sword. Did that happen?
So yeah, I'm willing to accept if you wish to feed the mask of the Dragon Queen to your sword, you certainly may.
For those in the review, Joey's sword is made out of the muscle and sinew of a blue half-dragon, and has already eaten a blue dragon. Ruqiyo.
Wait, that was actually like a person at one point? Oh, wow.
Half person, Ruqiyo, half person.
Half person that was trying to kill us, so.
Okay, alright.
So several things start to happen as that is being fed. One, the sword does upgrade to relic. Congratulations, you now wield a relic blade. And two, it wants now to cover a larger percentage of your body. When wearing it, it would like to envelop you. Will you allow such a thing?
Oh, okay. That seems a little out of line there, little sword.
What the hell's going on back there, Joey? What?
We're having a communication issue, it's fine. And as soon as it starts to act up, like it clearly wants an answer. Hey, can I just take over your whole body and encapsulate you? Just gonna be like, we're gonna discuss that later when we're not in imminent danger, and dismiss it as his warlock weapon.
All right. He like bap it on the nose with a newspaper and send it to its room. Joey, anything else you wish to bring to our attention before we find out Dawn?
I mean, I imagine there will be a little bit more support done in other characters' turns.
Sure.
But without his main weapon, his main way to answer with violence, Joey will be very much more restrained. Dawn.
Dawn went into this fight pretty okay. He's coming out decently. He got hit with ice, I believe, and maybe got his whiskers singed a little bit by giant goddess Dragonfire, but for once did not take like a fire blast to the face. so he's thankful for that. Coming out, I see that there are he had abandoned his Vrock. Like, he had summoned a bunch of Vrocks before coming in here to use his mounts. He abandoned his. I think Ruqiyo abandoned his in the temple before it left. There are 2 left. Who has those? Like, who's riding those 2?
Telaise is on
Valandra?
hers, and Valandra should have them.
Okay. So Dawn has, I mean, he has 1 spell left that he could do, and he is going to summon another one of those.
Okay.
So he could ride one. He lost his bird at one point, I think, with the big ice blast, and therefore cannot become one with said bird and fly away himself. So he is summoning himself another Vrock to make things quicker, and theoretically Vrocks can grab people and fly with them as well.
Sure.
May not be able to ride 2 people on the back, but they have hands, so if need be, whoever has a Vrock can grab a person and go off with them.
Okay.
That way.
You start circling upward and eyeing potential rescuees, and as you do so, Ruqiyo, what are you up to?
So, Ruqiyo's
Well, for
looking-
Dawn, real
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
like, he was going to grab party members. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
Oh!
So,
Fair
but
enough.
other people like Valandra would probably go and grab other folk, but his
Gotcha.
goal is getting them out because they can get each other out.
I forgot to put on my dawn glasses when I was targeting potential rescuees.
Well, if we're prioritizing party members, Ruqiyo will be happy to make the, taxi call sign. And hitch a ride. Unfortunately, he's looking a little smoky. Well, not smoky, sizzly? Yeah. Ice, fire, sizzle, steam. Steamy. There we go, steamy. Yeah. He's not looking too great. He's a little wrinkled. He's really tired. He doesn't have too much left in him right now. So of course, you always have to have, straight back, shoulders back, make sure your hair's good. And unfortunately, his normal go-to in this case would be an exit plan, but he used his exit plan getting out of the castle. And that was his last exit plan. So all I've got left is a couple of blasties, and one of them is really pretty. So he's actually going to see if Dawn can at some point him at a group of baddies, and he will light them up like the rainbow, and it will be beautiful.
All right. So Ruqiyo's ready to light up some baddies, and as we
prismatic ray sort of way.
Ooh, in a prismatic sort of way. Kuhloe, what then are you looking like, and what are you doing in this immediate time?
Okay, so Chloe's on El Marvelos with Joey. She's probably looking a bit wind whipped from zip zapping all around the battlefield. So like her perfect high ponytail of dreads with cool stuff strung in her hair is probably like a little frazzled now and like kind of lopsided. But she's still hanging in there. And in spite of whatever is going on behind her with Joey and his weapon, she's probably holding on to the masks tight as hell, trying to, one, make sure that her family is gotten out and are, air quotes, safe, and then she's looking for those chromatic dragons to
Wampus do some dragons?
No. She's looking for the chromatic dragons, see what's left, and try and find the good dragons, and like, because she assumed that chromatic and the good dragons are fighting each other. Like, that was how it was divided. So she's trying to see how many are left, where's a good spot, who's free on my side of the good dragon people that I can drop these fucking masks off with.
Okay. So as Kuhloe looks for a metallic dragon to give the masks to, all but the blue, which has been nommed upon, Mord, what are you up to?
So Mord went into this fight. He was looking pretty good. I mean, he wasn't looking good. He's Mord. But he came out. He went in a dwarf, and he came out an Azer. His skin is like black and charcoaled, and his hair was orange already, but it's definitely on fire still.
We do to approve in
Yeah.
a subtext sort of way.
Yeah, it's not looking. I mean, he's feeling okay, but that's just the adrenaline kicking in, which is always good. It's a mess. He's just not good, but he is looking around, and he is. So we just came out of the portal that went into the main chamber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he is coming out, looking around. All right, this place is gonna blow. Where are those lizard folk? And I think he's going to. I think he's going to start looking down the corridor to see where the Drakhorn was.
Sure. So you start rushing down the northwestern tunnel. You can hear that the Drakhorn's still echoing from there, deafening as you get your head into the tunnel entrance. You dart down the tunnel. You turn to the west, and you would get to about here-ish. The right layer. There we go. About here-ish. And then you see the single largest amount of treasure, gold, magic items, and nonsense that you have ever beheld in your entire gosh darn life.
Oh no.
Magic
Don't
items.
let Telaise see that.
Yeah, well, here's the
Nonsense.
problem, because I'm next and I was gonna follow him.
Uh-oh. Telaise is going down with a ship.
Oh god.
So, Mord, does that stop you? You can see ahead across the piles of incalculable wealth. Combat, likely the lizard folk by the shape of them.
Yeah, Mord doesn't care too much about material wealth. And even if that one dragon's armor is in there, I think getting a cremation is good enough. So he's going to head over to where the Drakhorn is.
All right, you start rushing down to the south and west, and as you do that, we're gonna jump over to find out what's going on with Telaise. Now, Telaise, I will say one quick thing. In amongst the original party members, you all act basically as a family, treating each other as brother and sister more often than not. But even so, for just a moment there, when Joey's sword had consumed the mask and that little flash of blue scale appeared on his cheek, you're like, hey. And you're like, oh. So, what would you like to do?
I think actually what you mean is that she's watched him feed that mask to his sword. She went, aw. Because she was hoping she could get her hands on it.
Into the wardrobe it would have gone. But look,
absolutely.
There's still 4 colors to choose from. You could have a variety of outfits, one for every season.
That's not her color.
That's
Her
true.
color is blue. Okay, so yeah, like I heard Mord going off after the horns. So I was literally gonna follow him, and then we're in trouble because there's treasure and that mask is on her face.
Oh no, it is, isn't it?
Yep,
It is.
Sure is.
And because it's there, despite the fact that she has taken a great deal of damage and then got healed up a lot, you can't tell. She looks great because that mask is awesome. Like that. Like, she still looks fantastic. And she would have looked fantastic anyway. Because she's got, bard protections on her hair. Anyway, yeah, yeah, she was gonna follow Mord anyway, trying to destroy that horn and hopefully, once they got done, pluck him up and get him out, because, running's not a great idea.
So this is literally Tiamat's horde on this plane. This is everything that has been assembled by her cult over the years. This is what you just found the smallest percentage of in that tower. The tiniest piece. This is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you hear a and holes start to open up in the floor. Fissures start to appear. Great jets of steam and gas erupt out. And then you start to hear first one and then a cascade as coins, jewels, and treasures begin to fall down into those little rifts. And that's where we'll kind of cycle down to round 2 here. The volcano has started to stir. The party has started to scatter. In the air above, as some of you start to rise up, you can see that a great storm has washed across the land. Most of the armies have tumbled down at least halfway down the mountain. Should it erupt, they have perhaps, if they're lucky, a minute or two of running. Hopefully it will not be one of those fast flows that are so dreaded. But Joey, now that I think you are being taken up amongst the dragons headed towards one of the metallics, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm aboard for the ride here.
Mhm.
I'm more or less serving as proof that there are still 5 dragon masks and that not any of them are under Tiamat control at this point. So, like,
Where'd your weapon go, Joey?
Well, I had to put it away. It was being sassy. Like sassy. Sassier than you.
What does that mean? Fuck you, and what does that mean?
Well, it just wanted to, wrap me up. Like, all of me.
What does that mean? I don't understand. We're heading into dragon territory, and you bipped your weapon away?
Look, if it's gotta come out, it's gotta come out. So functionally, I guess I will be holding my interactions probably until Chloe's turn and the results, and we see the results of what happens.
Okay, so Chloe's on a really, really, really fast mount, so you are rocketing into the sky. You get up there, and amongst the dragons, Joey, you recognize the 5 primary from the council, as well as others. One that comes swinging over towards you swings close enough and just looks back at you, a female silver dragon. Ali just says, just get on.
We're on the Pegasus. The Pegasus goes fast.
She looks back at you a little surprised, gives a snort, and then flies away. And you see a male bronze dragon winging by, like, laughing. He turned you down! And Dawn, what are you up to?
I guess Ruqiyo's the one that needed the ride, so he'll snag him
Mm-hmm.
up. He's held in demon fingers.
Woo! The party is splitting. Party is splitting.
He's gonna, I guess, closer to where everyone else is right now, kind of see what everyone else is doing. He's not one to really do this party splitting thing.
Just kind of circling upward at this point.
Yeah, circling around, getting a view of everything and watching everybody else. Waiting for them, because they have rocks or running.
Gotcha. Now, as Dawn is circling upward, Ruqiyo, you come above the crest of the line, and you start to get a chance to see a number of cultists, elementals, wizards, and other combatants. What would you like to do?
great range and great view.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it should not be wasted. Unfortunately, the farther I get up, the further away my prismatic playtime doesn't really work. But I think at this point it's death from above. And anything that I have left, I'll fire off chain lightning and I'll start breaking up the first level spells, and I'll just be like, helping a dude there, helping a dude there.
Okay, so
because every cultist I can take down, is hopefully one more person that can get away.
So, Ruqiyo, from what you've described and what I think the army sees, so the forces of good arrayed at the base of the mountain, looking up at the top of this caldera, see a Tabaxi, in kind of a somber gray outfit, circling upwards atop of rock. The rock is holding in its claws a rather sultry looking fellow. And then, as the rock sort of hits the exact right point, a pyramid of rainbow lights emerges as you cast your prismatic spray down, basically creating a giant arrow like, look at me, and then you start shooting off chain lightnings. Is that accurate?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
This is why I wasn't firing anything.
So yes, everybody sort of looks at you as you just create a album cover, and then they're like, that is amazing. We should shoot at them. So there will be some incoming fire to contend with in a bit. Kuhloe, however, is much faster atop El Marvelos. What would you like to do? You are amongst the metallic dragons.
Seeing the silver dragon come in and like proposition Joey for a ride and then take off, I'll be like, wait, damn it, wait, I have a thing for you. Oh, God damn it. No one can hear me over the sound of this dragon noise battle volcano thing. And then the bronze dragon just went right on by too.
He was just sort of zooming by. Like they are actively in combat, but it's sort of like they are definitely the elite, so they don't need to focus as much. They're sort of companionably talking, Gimli and Legolas during the fight scenes kind of thing.
All right, yeah, I'm going towards if Joey and I can see the 5 main metallic dragons, then Chloe's pointing El Marvelos that way and zooming that way.
Okay, the central point Protanther, the gold dragon, head of the council, is within shouting range. Are you planning on giving all 4 remaining relics, Masks of the Dragon Queen, to these metallic dragons?
I am definitely planning on doing that, because we safeguarded / ate the other one, so, I mean, this is an act of good faith. Also, I don't know what to do with them otherwise. Also, we kept one separate, so that's a thing that we did. So yeah, she's trying to hand him to him, as long as it looks like he's going to be able to keep it safe and not like, I'm in the middle of shit here.
Oh yeah, he has pockets. I mean, he's a fashionable
course.
gold dragon, waistcoat, little pocket watch. It just tucks it in there. Yes. So the masks delivered to the metallic dragons. Kuhloe, anything else?
Once they're delivered, she'll yell something like, make sure these get destroyed, and she'll point El Marvelos and use whatever movement she might have to head back down towards her friends to see if she can help ferry people away.
So Mord, rushing through the caverns, past immeasurable wealth, you come upon an enormous room dedicated to this Drakhorn, a massive dragon's horn that has been carved and bound with all manner of metals. At one end, a disturbance in the air leads you to believe an air elemental is there, just funneling huge volumes of wind through this horn as it just blasts repeatedly. Sprawled out on the ground, the lizard folk just can't move through this. It's just overcome them. What are you doing? Is Mord like Aladdin in the Cave of Wonders? Mord, are you like Aladdin in the Cave of Wonders? Have you got a monkey?
Wait, that means Telaise is Abu.
That does.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, Apu is very well dressed.
So is there anything in between myself and the horn?
Nothing a save from the lizard folk who you must surpass. There may be some hidden guardians. Feel free to choose some and defeat them as you wish.
Okay. Well, Mord is still not thinking super clearly. So here's what I'm thinking he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to try to make a weak spot in the Drakhorn with his glaive. Just like one attack, and then pull out his adamantine battering ram and just try to shatter it to pieces.
Sounds good. So, Mord picks up a head of steam, just goes charging in there. You realize that in normal times, no. Just no. But
Yeah.
with the strength of a fire giant behind you, yeah, you know just where to strike. You've seen metalwork like this. You find the fault and you shatter it. And it is loud. Mord, you will not be able to hear for the next hour or so.
What?
But yeah, exactly. But you have destroyed the Drakhorn. And the lizard folk begin to rouse themselves, stumbling about. You can see blood trickling down the outside of their ears. They must be much worse off than you are, and you don't feel so great. Mord, anything else?
He's going to yell, "Get out!" I'll leave it up to you whether it sounds like "Get out."
They put their hands to their bloody ear holes and like, what?
And he's just like rage pointing like back out of here.
And they're like, no, we should leave. But you don't hear anything.
Yeah, that's.
And their mouths aren't shaped like normal human mouths, so you just see
I can't read lips
bitey, bitey,
either.
bite.
Clack, 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 clack.
So that
What
happens
are you
for
saying? It's
a few comical
infuriating.
seconds. Why does he want to stay? I don't know. What did you say? I don't know. Telaise, is that sort of routine is happening in there. Gold, glorious gold. What would you like to be doing?
Okay, so what's happening is Telaise is splitting the difference between the compelling nature of her mask and her desire to save her friend. She grabs her bag of holding, kind of shakes it open, and she's like, "Rock, go get Mord!" And like as he's going, like she's kind of skimming it across all the treasure and gold. So the Rock can grab Mord, and she's like, "Whatever I get, I get."
You are literally a boo at the end of the Genie song.
Seriously.
Vrock is the magic carpet, and you are a boo just trying to shove as many gold coins in his little hat as possible.
So, Telaise, this is successful. You have filled the bag to the brim. We will perhaps someday roll on the crazy ass treasure table to find out what you find. But for right now, let's just say that it's excessive.
It's excessive. That's fantastic.
Telaise, are you ever satiated? Will you ever willingly step away
From?
all this gold?
Yeah, she's splitting the difference. She's like, "I'll get what I can get," and the Rock, and she's already ordered the Rock, grab Mord and get out.
Okay, got
That way she can give in, but not.
it. Sounds good.
Give
So the
in with
Vrock,
limit.
so the Vrock makes its way over. Mord, as you start to come out the tunnel, the kind of pushing, dragging the lizard folk along with you. You get the offer of a ride, and then it's ready to swing back and pick up Telaise and head out. In the meanwhile, these fissures continue to open. The rest of the gold continues to pour down. Kingdoms worth of treasure just going into the pit. Joey, she just gave away the relics. What are you planning on doing up there?
Well, I mean, it what, mission accomplished, right? So
Mhm.
like we're gonna go back down, right, Kuhloe? Right?
Chloe reaches behind Joey and lets loose a string on this big banner as it floats down. It says "Mission accomplished."
I
You're
love
already running the
cinema.
victory flag like you're already doing the shit. God damn. In that case, Drew's gonna be like, "Are we going? Wait, Chloe, where are we going? Like, are we going to help people, or are we going to like finish these cultists, or like which of those two are we doing?"
Yes. I would call your weapon back. We're heading down, back into it.
Okay, that's a good point. Joey will call his weapon back.
Okay.
Can we see like everybody from wherever we're at, or are they like
Oh
little
yeah,
tiny
yeah.
ants?
You're way up there. You've got a really good vantage. You can see basically the cone of the. That's a really good image. You've got a cone of the mountain visible to you. You can see. It's not fully surrounded. It's patches where the cultists are engaged with your armies, and it looks like most of the armies have suffered. Cultists and the forces of good, air quotes, have been hit with sluicing water and mud, knocking them down, damaging them as the elementals have gone wild at this point. The tremors traveling through the ground seem to have everyone trying to move away from the mountain, but they can't turn and run lest they expose their backs to the cultists and the rampaging elementals. So there is help to be done. You can see several things going on. In one particular instance, you see a mounted band of knights in heavy armor charging to the rescue of someone who has somehow gotten himself tied to a pole, surrounded by cultists.
Fucking Leosin.
You can see where a number of the cultists just fall over dead, and they don't seem to be able to explain why. So all sorts of nonsense going on down around there. One area that seems to be fairly left alone, there is a pit of devastation where elementals just must have run amok, in the center of which two bodies lay. One a human male, the other a elven woman.
That looks like a fucking bomb went off over there. Let's go help these people that are alive. And Joey will summon his weapon.
You got it.
Is it still trying to go all like, "Hey, look, can I like encapsulate you?"
It's like we could be so much more.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. So.
Because it's still my weapon, right? So I can dismiss it whenever I want to, right?
So, Joey, you're like, all right. You know what? It makes sense. And it's like, cool. You're gonna have to let go, though.
Joe's not a fan of letting go.
Just a little. I just need a little room.
Do I have any idea what it means by a little room?
I just want to
Like, I'm
stretch my
imagining-
wings.
I mean, yeah, like it wants to stretch its wings, okay.
All right, so
Let's do it.
for the first time in a long time, your weapon resumes its original form. The wings of a blue half-dragon. However, now they are reattached, and they are emboldened by the power of the blue dragon mask. Joey, you now have the fly speed of a blue dragon.
Woo! Joey has wings.
Okay, so I think I'm supposed to say something, like, am I... Chloe, hold on. Okay, I'll race ya. That's what people say here, right? Like, that's what... like, I'm fast now.
Yeah. Well, what's your fly speed? What's your fly speed?
It's
Like, I don't know, I haven't tried yet.
It's exactly this fast as he starts flying down without saying, like, go or start.
So you have an 80-foot fly speed, but if you're going straight down, it can be considerably faster than that.
Well, I mean, if we're above cultists, like, why not dive bomb?
All right. Yes. Your sword may now take the form of its original wings. Wrath's wing is restored. You may transform it to the wings or back to a weapon as you choose. Joey, down and fighting with the cultists. Dawn, Ruqiyo has just very brilliantly pointed out where you are. What are you up to now?
It's like rolling his eyes. I have been rolling for the rock, and it has not yet broken free. Thank God. And does not want it to get hit currently by how far away are bad guys?
So there are bad guys all over the place, and basically Ruqiyo targeted a clump of them that were near to the edge, up at the lip there. So you can maneuver. You've got time. These aren't rounds. These are turns and minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got 300 feet, but in terms of dragon size, I'm anyone that looks like they're about to try to blast a fireball in the direction he's gonna hit them with Eldritch Blast from really far away, and then just kind of duck, fly the rock down so it doesn't get hit by anything.
All right, so we got Ruqiyo just spraying destruction, and then Dawn up there just carefully calculating and taking out the enemy snipers, just
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And it just going down just to make sure anything that does fire at them, you can get it out of the way. At least the rock out of the way from getting hit, because that will make things harder on everyone.
Gotcha. As that all happens, Ruqiyo, you're being kept a little further away from the groups than maybe is ideal at the moment. Dawn seems to like this long-distance sniping attack. What are you doing?
Okay, well, that was that. I'm maybe now rethinking my choices a little bit. I could really use a wand right now. A wand would be great.
Don't worry, Telaise has 6 for you to choose from.
Probably.
Yeah, so I kind of need to be reloaded at this moment. So, gift throwing would be really nice. Could we do that? Maybe if I could find a quiet place, I could maybe start virtually casting a teleport circle for people further out. Could you get me there?
I suppose.
I guess
Then
if we must rescue people.
If they could start heading in that direction now, then
Yeah,
we'll be heading
just
in that
find
direction.
a place where it looks like people would have a hard time retreating from, and then if they can get a little bit, then they maybe get to some sort of teleport circle.
Sounds good. So you spot an area that would be very difficult to retreat from, some of the rougher ground and terrain, and sort of using your knowledge of the area and what Mord had called out to you about, how things work, where the lava would potentially flow first. You head in that direction, start setting up your teleportation circle. And in the meanwhile, Chloe, what are you up to? And excuse me if you hear any bottle noises. I have to grab the next bottle. I have killed off my first supply.
Yeah, there's a drinking game going on Twitch if anybody wants to join in. Basically, it's just Kyle and I poking jabs at character normalcy actions right now. Okay. Chloe, she's not going to be outdone on El Marvelos. She's got haste, motherfucker. 80 fly speed, that's cute. It's real cute. So she's gonna take a dive and head down to fetter some people away. Because her group seems to have control of everything and is doing their stuff. She saw Mord take the horn and saw Telaise have time to scoop up some loots. So they must be safe if Telaise is looting. Chloe's not worried about anybody. So she'll help anybody she can.
I believe the party does still have their telepathic bond up.
Yeah, we
So there is a steady stream of communication, I think, between them about what's going on.
Just this visual in your mind of like shinies. And don't tell anybody, Chloe. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I'm a little busy right now, but like, you know, number one priority isn't ratting you out for taking loot. That's whatever. As long as it's not somebody's like family heritage silverware. Anyway, I ain't got time for this.
Heritage silverware.
I don't know. Heading towards so much shit going on. Ruqiyo's trying to get a teleportation circle going.
Yeah, I figure I'll go back to what I'm good at.
It's saved asses before. Why not save asses now? Yeah, she's trying to grab as many people and get them towards that, I guess. She'll work from the back forward. The people that are already running towards the teleportation circle or running that might have a chance, she's gonna go closer to the danger and try and give those people a better chance.
Yep, breaking up the cultists, giving them more room to run, and sort of, give them a little push, a little bump draft. So as that's going on, Mord, what are you doing now that you've liberated the lizard folk? You're, I believe, basically run/now able to be mount carried through the treasure room, in which Telaise is almost ready to leave. Telaise.
Literally, the whole plan was like she get anything she can as the rock zooms over, grabs Mord, and then they're out. She's not planning on what she's getting. She's like, I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get.
So Mord, any dwarven upsurgence of that Thorin greed, or are you sticking to your nobility?
Mord isn't a noble person. He just he just doesn't really care for material wealth that much. I mean, he uses it and he has some fun with it, but it's not the be all and end all, so I don't think he really cares. I think he's just on the Vrock, heading out, and like I think he's like preparing to take Telaise by force.
Okay. like a helping hand / grasping fist if necessary.
Yeah, like he's expecting that there might be a little bit of resistance.
Little tug of war, maybe. So Telaise, as Mord swings by, Vrock mount / carry. What are you up to?
Well, she sees as the rock is impending, she's like, okay, that's it, and she like secures her bag of holding. She's like, can't get rid of. Make sure I have. Oh, or it's useless if you lose it. And she's ready to go. She's like, all right, let's go fuck some shit up. I gotta find my parents.
All right. You start heading out the tunnels. You have a decision to make as you're coming out of the treasure room. You could go left to the way that the lizard folk could come in and the way that they are scurrying, frantically trying to keep up with you to get out. Or you could go to the right, back to the caldera and the open sky from there. Which way do you decide to go?
It would probably actually be smarter to go through the tunnels rather than going back to the caldera, because God knows where the lava is at that point.
Also, isn't there still that force field, or is that force field gone?
Force field.
The barrier that was like blocking the top of the
That's
caldera
only a visual barrier. You can't see through it, but you could pass through it.
Oh, okay.
I think all that's gone since we.
Yes, there's a lot of magics failing now. A lot of wizards have died.
Yeah, I think it'd be safer to take the tunnels rather than risk having lava spew chasing us out the top.
Sounds good. So you wing your way down the tunnels. It's tight quarters, but you can manage. You blast through a few cultists, sending them off to the side. And then as you emerge, you can see down the slope of the hill that there is one particular blasted area where a male human and a female elf lay. And them,
do I recognize that male human?
You do. He's got his harpoon and everything.
Yeah,
The sailor lays in a pit.
Yeah, she's going straight there.
All right, you go swinging straight down there. Now,
And the moment she's within range, she's gonna cast healing word on her father. Just to make sure that happened, just to see if anything happened.
You cast the spell, and unfortunately, he is deceased. He has failed his 3 death saving throws, as has the woman laying near him. You can see that the two are in the bottom of that crater in a puddle of water as well. And those 3 lay there. Now, we haven't heard from Valandra or Dusk recently. Unfortunately, the players haven't joined us yet. I feel Valandra. I feel like Valandra and Balandra have been frantically darting about on their Vrox, casting healing spells on anyone who looked even the least bit hurt, as they try to make sure everyone's okay. And then I feel that when Telaise came winging out, Valandra probably lit out after them, probably yelling at Mord about "get back here and let me heal you." While Balandra is probably up there, sort of a little woodenly following instructions to heal the rest of the party. So both of you will have the opportunity to see that, and Valandra, if Telaise isn't aware, will let her know that when a Merid passes away, they are left only with a small pool of salt water. They dissolve to water and foam. So likely, both of your parents lie dead within that crater.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So Joey, will skip up to you or down to you as you are plummeting through the air towards the ground. What are you up to?
Well, I mean, like, this is Kid in the Candy Store right here. Like, plenty of targets, all out in the open. I can go in the air when I want, and I can smash people into little bits when I want.
So, Joey, you start laying devastation down upon. You can see that the volcano has reached the point now where lava is starting to seep out of some of the lower cracks. The main eruption hasn't happened yet, but the steam and the gases coming up are definitely venting. The armies have started to make their retreat. You are just cutting swaths through the cultists and otherwise, making the retreat for the allies easier. Anything else we should know? We'll call this probably the last round at the mountain.
No, I mean, this is just like, it's getting used to being able to fly in the air. That's kind of weird. No.
Sounds good. Dawn, you've escorted Ruqiyo down. You've started up that Ruqiyo started up that summoning circle. Anything you're doing as you're...
He would probably fly up a ways and try to snipe around and keep people from interfering with that. Like any incoming forces. If it gets a bit overwhelming, he does have his Mystic Arcanum, which is a circle of death. He could explode or most it's necrotic damage, so I guess like rot from the inside out a large group of people that happen to like be in that circle at once. But he's gonna hold on to that unless absolutely necessary, like they're about to get overwhelmed. But he's gonna be sniping. I do
have a question to clarify, because I sort of, so far you've had targets of military value. These are spellcasters. These are folks that are active threats. At this point, the lava has started to appear, and everyone is basically in the let's get out of here. You know, it's become. There might be occultists and a friendly running side by side because there's a little bit of a bigger problem behind them. At some point, that teleportation circle is going to be active, and you're going to have the opportunity to step through. Are you going to light them up on your way out, or are you going to let them survive?
Cultists, he'll... Just because it feels like it might be better in the long run if more of them get taken out than, you know...
Mm-hmm.
He's not nice. He's not the type of person. Like, he thinks very practically, and even, like, coming through, if, like, some of them get through the teleportation circle, but he doesn't want a whole lot of them getting through, because, like, that could cause, like, problems on the other side, or just, like, even letting them stay alive at this point, like, for the future. So, like, he's definitely going to continue to take out cultists, as you can see, even if they're running in the same direction.
Sounds good. No prisoners taken as Dawn just begins to exterminate the cultists. Ruqiyo, you are busy for a couple of minutes.
I'm gonna be busy, yeah.
Well,
Yep.
you're busy for that, but eventually that wraps up. The portal opens, folks begin pouring through, and then before you yourself jump through at the end, perhaps, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, I think the best thing I can do is just, no pushing, single file, or, 3 file, whatever. We'll get through this. I mean, it's not like I can go off and do something. I need to kind of stay here. So,
So your good manners and upbringing just show through at the very end. You're just like, let's have some dignified, escapee here, right here.
clearly, we're right here. We're going to live. There's no need to be rude. Yeah. Those people over there are a little less likely, but right here, right now.
Women, children, and well-born first. Is that the mentality? So.
You're well-born in your heart.
There we go. So Ruqiyo, as you lead the evacuation efforts there, you can see other teleportation circles springing up about the area.
Oh, thank God.
You're not the only mage about, so yes, the retreat has been called. Kuhloe, in the meanwhile, though, on El Marvelous, you are outpacing Joey handily.
Wait. Did everyone else know Elamar's full name, and it was just me?
What's that?
It's
Or is
written.
this a reveal for everyone?
It's written on the.
Yeah, I just noticed this.
He graduated when he became a Pegasus.
He did. And I apologize for anybody who was inflicted with the puns of the DM. At one point, it was released that he was a seahorse, a pirate. So he was Elmar, which is the sea, and he is a horse, so that was the seahorse. He graduated to Pegasus, and I was like, what could we possibly do to turn Elmar into a Pegasus? Ah, yes, Vilos. So he is Elmar Vilos. So, sorry.
Yeah, and his hair is on point. Yeah, no, you're
not. So Kuhloe, what? I'm bottles in at this point. So Kuhloe, what's going on over there?
I mean, shit's about to erupt, so Chloe's probably just trying to cut her losses, and she feels a little conflicted about the whole, like, Dawn just myrtleating all the cultists, but, like, she's trying really hard to feel bad for them. Like, everybody's running side by side. She's trying real hard to feel bad for them. And you can kind of hear that probably in the telepathic bond a bit, but she's busy over here doing stuff. Ooh, a wild Valandra appears.
Oh my God!
Yay!
Oh God, Thomas, bad things have happened.
Oh
we
dear.
need you need to intervene. Intervene and
to
open
drink
your
like
way.
4
You need to roll
drinks to
initiative
catch up.
right fucking now.
Casey's 2 bottles in. I've had 2 or 3 beers, and yeah, you need to catch up, Thomas.
And all of our parents are dead.
Okay.
So,
So Telaise is gonna be needing you right freaking now.
so
On my way.
She said,
will-
carrying her giant bag of loot.
we will insert.
It doesn't look right. It's all in a different plane. It's fine.
Stylishly the same size. It's a clutch purse.
But
So, come on now. So Chloe is trying to feel bad, but maybe not so much.
I mean, yeah, she is not going to actively assist in the myrtleating of the people that are running away, and she will point at Joey and be like, "You just come on."
Well, get shit done.
Yeah, I know, but like they're not even attacking us anymore. Let's go.
Do you want?
I
Do you
know
want these
Chloe-
like 40 people to get away? Like
know
I
you're
gotta stop
super
these
slow.
20.
I know you're
Chloe
super
like
slow.
checks her swing, and then like Dawn's like "Fwop." So yeah.
Oh, I've never had even an iota of control over Dawn. Not that I have control over Joey, but I can make him feel bad for sure. I'm not even sure Dawn has a conscience at this point.
Fair
It got
deal.
burned away.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Sorry, did you
Dawn
care-
makes a reference
your
to getting
burn?
burned. Drink.
drink? So Mord, with Telaise, you have burst forth from the tunnel. Telaise has taken you down to where a human and an elven woman lay in a puddle of salt water in just an absolute destroyed crater. Elementals must have had some hell of a time here. What are you doing?
Well, Mord knows that this is out of his element, so he is going to... He's gonna stick here, or stay around this area and, like, fight off anyone that seems to approach us, I guess.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just being vigilant and constantly looking back at the volcano, trying to feel the tremors in the ground and seeing signs of, like, rocks falling from the top because he can't hear shit.
And there are a number of elementals who are patrolling the area and set upon you, but through grit, determination, and so on, you managed to fend most of them off. Now, Valandra, my thought was you and Balandra over the last few minutes have been working frantically to heal the party up, among the most troublesome of which was Mord, who went winging off while still being a bit on the bloodied side. You finally managed to track him down. He was on a rock with Telaise as they burst out of one of the tunnels on the mountainside. You swung down along them, giving him the "come back here and let me heal you. It won't hurt, I promise. We'll just rub some dirt in it for you" kind of situation. But what you came upon was Telaise heading towards where the body of a human man, an elven woman, and a small puddle of water lay in a crater surrounded by devastation. You know that when a Merid or other such elemental creature pass away, they tend to leave behind only a small amount of the element from which they are made. So likely, Telaise's father and your mother are within that pit, quite dead.
Okay. How long has it been?
It's
And
only
I-
really been a few minutes since all this started. It has just been chaos after chaos.
Okay. Are we jumping to my turn, or
Yes.
'cause-
I think
Kind of
you-
rolled the perfect initiative for
Yeah,
it.
you actually rolled in directly above Telaise, which is where I was going to plunk you in anyway, so you did it yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, we're in reverse order. That's why all the numbers look crazy.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're down a tunnel. I have found Telaise and Mord, and
I think we're out.
the bodies of our parents.
Correct. So from the caldera, you left the caldera via tunnel. You came out the other side of the tunnel onto the side of the now active volcano.
Okay.
Down a ways, there's a crater of devastation where there's 2 bodies and the puddle of salt water remain.
And what's up with the armies? There were people.
At this point, they are in full retreat. The volcano is actively erupting now. There was still some skirmishing, which the party members took part in, but at this point, it's just retreat. Several teleportation circles have sprung up, the most populous of which and the earliest to spring up came from Ruqiyo. But it is get away while you can.
Yeah.
This mountain's gonna blow.
Okay. So I think Valandra's gonna freeze for just a second, seeing the dead bodies and of their parents again. And then jump up and try to cast Revivify on Telaise's dad.
Okay. You quickly try and cast the spell. However, the soul does not appear free to return to the body.
You've got to be kidding me.
It is bound in some way.
There a check of some sort I can make to know why that might be?
We can pick up on that one after this section. So there's nothing you can think. So there's only 3 real things that you can think of immediately. 1, he doesn't want to come back. 2, he's captured in some way. Or 3, he's already been reborn. So those are the 3 most common reasons if a soul is not available to come back. You do know many souls were sent to Avernus as part of these sacrifices.
Plane ship to Avernus. Go get it. Please don't do that.
So I feel like that was a telepathic Rory's set there. Valandra's like, how could this be? Ruqiyo's like, oh, he could be in Avernus. We should go get him. Not right now.
Perfect.
He'll still be there in a day.
And then, okay, so how badly off are the bodies?
They look dead, but they're not like falling apart dead.
Okay.
You could take them with you reasonably intact. Like you're not going to leave an arm or a leg behind.
She will, trying to ignore the tears, just, grab Telaise and say, it's not working for now, gotta figure it out later, and try and pick up the bodies.
So, Valandra and Telaise, you're both actually at the same initiative, so, Telaise, what are you doing with this as well?
Okay, so, like, she's really trying to hold it together, and she goes, okay, she grabs her cittern, quickly casts Fly on Mord, and goes, get the fuck out of here, I need the Vrock, and she basically pick up the bodies, let's go!
Okay.
Because she has a very strong feeling that the lady here kind of looks like her, doesn't she?
She does resemble you quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Some people would say you resemble her perhaps by half.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty sure she's got both parents right here. And, can you even bring back an elemental creature that has, like,
I
no
was just
body?
about to ask that.
Yeah.
So
Does
I'm willing
resurrection?
to see a quick Arcana roll.
With help? Because they're there together?
With help, absolutely.
I was gonna say, can we do this via raries?
What's
Sure,
that?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a help.
yeah,
Whoever
we-
would like to roll it.
oh. Yeah,
Whoever's got a really high Arcana, because it ain't me.
she will ask Ruqiyo through Varys.
Alright, perfect. So someone's helping me so I get advantage
with
on
help,
it? Is that
yeah.
how it
Yep,
works?
with
Sure.
advantage. Oh yeah. So
Didn't
you're
need
like,
it.
I mean, they're people.
Oh, that's intelligence.
They're not
Arcana.
traditional people, but they're people.
So, like, how much do we need?
As much as you can carry would really be the best.
Okay, is there any space left in my bag of holding?
You said you filled it to the brim.
I said I would take as much as I could get in the couple of seconds.
So-
that was
So
Keep that
this is
true.
this
I
is
said
like that.
multiple times.
This is like that meme where they're like, if you fill it with the sand first, you can't fit the big things in. It's gold, so gold has space between it, so you could just like scoop and get water in amongst the gold, no problem.
Cool. Just getting as much of it as she can pick up.
Not a
You
problem.
have to, like,
Sorry
throw your
about
shirt
it.
down.
It's really shiny in there, so it's not a bad place to have your temporary grave.
Yeah, I mean, there are worse places. So the bodies, all three, are recovered and made away with, and that's actually going to bring us, I think, to the end of our scene. At this point, the mountain has begun to erupt actively, lava cascading down the side, vents rising up, cultists and do-gooders alike being blasted into the air and burned, but the vast majority of them have been saved. A quick look back at the mountainside, though, shows the devastation. Many lives were lost here. The sacrifices not being the least of them. Towns entirely lay dead on the mountain slope and in the caldera inside. But you are away the majority of the armies of good and very few cultists getting away. So I'm going to go ahead and drop us out of turn order. And we're going to fast forward a little bit. And during this fast forward, a couple of things get researched. One of which is the inability to raise the dead. Revivify, raise dead, resurrection, even unto a wish spell, is unable to bring anyone back to life. And in fact, those who have died and been resurrected in the past, through any of those means, are starting to feel a bit ill. The source of that has not yet been pinpointed, but if you happen to know out of character information, you might sort of know what's going on. The death curse is now active across the lands. We'll use a modified version of that, but future adventures may feature that. Unfortunately, what that means is raise dead, resurrection, revivify, and so on will not return a person to life. And those who have suffered will slowly sicken and eventually die if something is not done.
Oh, we need to do something about this, you guys.
Yeah,
I
'cause
have a
Ruqiyo
vested
died.
interest in this. I mean, it was only for a second. It might not count, but
It
think it
counts. It counts. You do feel a bit under the weather. You're a healthier sort. You're young. I'm only dead for a little bit, so it's not affecting you as much as others. Others have almost dropped dead in the streets because of the length of time that they spent dead or their advanced years, but you can feel it weighing on you, sort of a tug at your soul, like you're a little disconnected from your body. Other things will happen. Of course, there are celebrations and triumphant jubilation. You are welcomed at any court which you wish to stop by for at least the next month or so. You are the talk of the town. The council invites you in and thanks you and rewards you and asks little pointedly, were you able to recover any of the treasure?
No, I didn't see it. Too bad. I can say so, honestly.
I love the little wigs that you guys drew. Those are great.
Thank you. My artistic ability knows no bounds. Oh, Valandra,
what?
Joey can fly. He's got blue dragon wings on his back.
Joey does have blue dragon wings. The wings of the half dragon have evolved. They've been fed a mask of the Dragon Queen. So, from here, what I'd like to do is open it up a little bit. Some weeks and months will have passed. What would the characters like to do? It sounds like they may be hanging on to that treasure trove which they were able to recover. And as long as none of the unnecessarily honest party members are informed of it, that's fine. If an unnecessarily honest party member is notified of this treasure trove, do let me know what's going on.
Is one, right?
Keep that on the DL. And like, honestly, if anybody had like, if they had point blank asked her if she had recovered anything, literally, she's just gonna be like, I found both my dead parents. I don't think you're gonna get anything for that. Like, just bitter and angry, and she's like, and she's more focused on her grief than anything. So fuck them.
So
I assume for now we're gentle reposing those bodies.
that would be the wise thing to do. So
and in private, she will sift out the salt water from the bag so that Valandra's mom can be possibly gently reposed.
Understood, and that will work. So you end up with effectively 3 coffins or places to keep them in repose while such things are researched.
2 coffins in an aquarium.
2 coffins in an aquarium.
Tasteful, like a tasteful closed top, so it doesn't evaporate.
So the gentle repose casting goes well. Over time, the investigations into the nature of the disturbance in the flow of souls throughout the land will reveal 2 sources. One, centered in an island quite a ways away, known as Chult. The other, much closer, in a valley between mountains known as Barovia.
Oh.
Yep.
Seriously? We know that. We've been there.
You've been there, absolutely. So the 2 sources of trouble that are researched over the next few months reveal those 2 areas. Now, Barovia, the investigations there, you're on good terms with the leader of the area, a young woman, and she's done you some favors. She granted you the use of a luck blade for a wish that restored Kuhloe to the realms, and she's very helpful, at least as much as she can be. But no discrete sources found. No, monster or item causing the trouble. It just seems to be a aura emanating from their lands, troubling the flow of souls throughout the land. Distant Chult, however, is much more difficult to investigate and would require, perhaps, some campaign in the future. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. But what else are folks up to in the months that follow? And do we want to just go? Do we want to go alphabetically? Do we want to go? Who wants to shout first? And I apologize if I'm getting rude. I'm several battles through. Ruqiyo, fire away.
Well, all right. So I'm assuming I'm not going to be able to spend all of my time doing this, but I
What's
now
that?
have a
Resisting
vested
the
interest.
advances of a lady who wants to make you her husband?
No one said anything about that sort of thing. Also, you
I-
have to specify which lady, because I have now apparently there are multiple. And
Are there? Who knew?
Are there multiple? Because I'm pretty sure
I'm not
Telaise and you
aware.
agreed that it was going to be.
No, apparently there are
open thing.
multiples. I
No,
gave you
wait a
free
second.
reign. So Ruqiyo is absolutely the talk of the town. Like,
He's the toast.
Wait, no. Wait. What did we agree to, Telaise?
I thought we were like, yeah, we're like boyfriend and girlfriend, but we're not like tying each other down.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes, we're all
She's
just
not gonna make
there.
you marry her like that. She's not gonna do that to you, man, unless like you absolutely need it to happen so that people get off your back.
All right,
So-
good. Never mind. We're good.
you're good?
I was
like
making sure we were referring to the same lady, and I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay. So
So-
that lady is still getting turned down. I will go to
Okay.
the party though. We can be friends. We can be besties.
Because the rumor around courts is you've got a smolder that can't be broken.
Ha 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 ha.
No?
Oh,
Sorry.
that's terrible.
I'm at terrible at this point, but I'm having fun with it.
Good. Don't apologize for it. So since I have a vested interest in not dying again,
Mhm.
I have like 3 research projects and only 24 hours in a day. Like 20 if we're, taking care of, social obligations and stuff.
Sure. So Rianne of the Legitimate Merchants Guild is like, I could take one of those troubles off your hands. I could just take care of that tower for you. I'll research the hell out of it.
No, please. My
What?
observatory.
I mean, I just,
If you see that ceiling, mine.
I mean, I haven't seen that ceiling, and that's sort of why I want it, so I can go see the ceiling. But, that's fine if you want to keep.
That's
off.
a great place that we could keep our parents.
Yes.
Okay with you, Ruqiyo?
Totes.
Sure.
Preach.
Are we like the keep dead people on the mantle kind of family, or are we like the keep dead people in the morgue kind of family? Because it only really works with the one.
A whole wing of dead parents? Is that okay?
So you've got a room with like 3 fireplaces and like 1 parent per mantle.
Like
I
I
like
have
it.
yet to find mine, and I'm guessing it's not gonna end all that well when I find them. So I was hoping we could have a place to stash them.
Can we have like a room in your cool tower where it's
Yeah,
it
I
looks
think
like
there's a really
mausoleum?
good room in the cool tower that will be able to be a morgue.
Does it have
Snow
good lighting in
Snow
it?
White room.
You could have the parents' floor. Just
Did somebody call me? Did someone say Mord?
Also, you need to explain to me when this all happened, because we went in and you were you, and we went out and color palette swap. Right? Like that happened when I wasn't looking.
Color palette swap.
Wait, what?
You talking
Who
about
colored
Mord?
palette swap?
so
Sorry,
Mord's,
so I
Mord's sort of a dark
flavorly
dwarfy
described.
look.
Yeah, I flavorly described myself as like charred and like looking like an Azer because my hair and stuff was still on fire from
Okay, so it was
two-
environmental,
two
not
Tiamat.
actually you. Okay.
No, it does eventually go out, leaving him bald for at least a little while.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Months
sure you
later,
are.
you're like, Mord, why are you on fire?
I became a fire elemental.
For like a minute.
So
For a hot
it sounds like
second.
Ruqiyo's got. Sorry, Dawn, go ahead.
Nothing. I was being a dork.
I feel like now's the time.
I said for a hot second.
Oh.
Right, that was good.
Cheers.
Oh wait, no. Kasey makes a pun cannot be the chunk command in this drinking game.
Oh, but it can.
No, that's not a valid at all. That'll be bad. So I can't even edit that. So Ruqiyo's got 3 research projects and several parents that aren't his to tend to. Who would
Actually,
like to?
can we like make Valandra their caretaker? We didn't lose her, and
Valandra?
Yeah.
Sure. So Valandra can be given the task of seeing to the parents because I don't. Is gentle repose a ritual?
It is.
Sure.
Yep.
So yes, absolutely. You can go ahead and have Balandra tend to the corpses, and you know what? I don't think I can think of anything more appropriate or grim than having a simulacra spending the potential ages just gentle reposing 3 corpses over and over again until it's resolved. But so yes, Balandra can be assigned to that duty within the tower, with helping with research and such things. Who would like to take number 2 as to what their outro is for the moment?
Hearing a lot of the death issues is coming out of Barovia, Dawn is gonna head that way. Cause like the Raven Queen is like death and fate, and they're not being brought back to life, but like they're not, like their death isn't going the way it should be anyway, so I think you'd feel compelled to try to figure out something, like what's going on there, if possible.
Sure. And I think as Dawn begins the investigation there, what Dawn finds is that Barovia is not actually related to the trouble with death. That is more related to Chult. Barovia is more related to troubles with birth. And it takes a while to notice, but after a few months, it is recognizable that the birth rate has declined in humanoids across the land. It seems no new souls are entering the cycle.
Oh, that's bad.
That's also bad.
Also bad, but on the other end of the spectrum.
It's a different bad, but it's also bad. Semi-related bad.
Semi-related bad.
It also answers one of our questions about what's happening. It's eliminated a possibility. Because they're not reborn somewhere else.
That does eliminate a possibility. They are not being reborn somewhere else. So, as the time continues to pass and the research continues to get done, who else would like to tell me what they're doing on their outro here?
Before someone else goes,
Yeah.
just because it occurs to me that there's only like 2 of us who would be willing probably to do so civilly. Would the turtle guy and the lady that people have a whole bunch of issues with have opinions on this whole death birth thing? Because maybe just one evening when the others aren't around, maybe Mord and I can go and have a nice chat.
So yes. So Mord and Ruqiyo are going to consult with Glumflower Pros about the flow of souls, as well as with the 2 women who raised them.
Wait, do undead count? Like these kids? Like they were the people that turned into banshees or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
How are they feeling?
That's what we want to go find out.
So that's what you want to go find out.
Oh, I thought we were talking about something else. Okay.
Well, no,
and their opinions on the overall, situation and, whatnot. But
and
it seems like a clue.
That does seem like a clue, and I feel like you get a good bit of insight there, but we might have to save that for future campaigns. So,
cool.
A good insight, and certainly he is happy to talk to you at length because Glumfellow, likes to tell the end of stories, and then the bit beyond. So he loves hearing about what's happening to you heroes now that the end of your story has happened. So that there's a tragedy, the loss of parents, and the discovery that you're still struggling to find your place in society. He just eats that up. And you feel that, unfortunately, likely, this will be the part of the story that gets told to future generations of orphans, if any are left in his care. But thank you, Ruqiyo. Who else would like to give me an outro?
Well, Chloe, knowing that Dawn was like, Barovia, I'm already there, she knows that she's probably the fastest on El Marvelos than anybody else, and knowing how far away Cholt is, she is probably going to... Oh, well, and seeing the pain inflicted on her sisters, and the room being taken up in the new acquired tower of parent room, wants to figure that out if she can. So she's gonna head to Cholt and look up her friend Plot, who I imagine has maybe made his way, like, heard that the battle ended and has turned around and is heading back to his homeland.
I mean, he does move at a Plot speed, so he sort of just,
God damn it.
Was it?
Chug.
Chug. Delicious. He was about 2/3 of the way there by the time the news reached him, and he turns around and starts heading back in the other direction. He's happy to give you some information about Cholt, and his time spent there. That, yes, it's become it's always been a dark and a dangerous land. It's full of enormous creatures. Everything there is just a little bit bigger. I mean, he's a turtle from there. And he sort of gestures to himself, and you're like, oh yeah, turtles actually are normally about 4 inches long, and you're about 8 foot tall. That makes sense. So there's that. And yet there's also some darker influences on the island. The Rakasta have resurged to prominence, driving the not quite peaceful, but more respectful of the natural order Tabaxi away from their homelands. So there's stuff going on there. But that is much too far for a Pegasus to fly in one shot. It would drown in the ocean once it got tired. He would need to commission a vessel, certainly.
Well, I knew somebody, a mysterious pirate of sorts. God, where did she go? Where did they go?
So,
they're very small stature.
As you're thinking back, you're like, oh, who do I know that's a pirate? You're like, oh yes, from the wanted posters, Moustachio. You're like, I could commission Moustachio's ship, and you're like, where is Moustachio? And somewhere, several hundred feet above a bubbling caldera full of lava, a small mouse cries over all the treasure that poured down into the molten land. So I feel that, just sitting atop his bladed surfboard, Moustachio, the danger mouse, just curses fate, looking down at the treasure that could have been. But maybe you can commission a ship from a friend who happens to look a lot like Moustachio for some reason.
The best friends, the ones that look like Moustachio.
The ones that look like Moustachio. So yeah, there's that. That, by the way, was not the outro I was expecting from Chloe. I was expecting a different question entirely. So I'm just going to shuffle this stack of papers over here that I prepped, and that's straight to the shredder. That information will never be revealed.
Oh, you presented new information. I mean, if we have more time. This is pressing, though.
I'm sorry. It was cross-cut. I can't possibly put that back
I'm
together.
sorry. People in the world are not, currently re-dying and, having issues coming in. So, yeah, the hunt for mom and dad is kind of on pause right now.
It's like there's some sort of putting the betterment of others before yourself situation that's very uncommon.
Kicks me in the ass.
It's that and talking while you're attacking. But who would like to take the next outro?
That's not a drink, Kyle. I didn't
It's a
do
fucking
it.
drink.
I didn't do it.
I mean, this one's obvious. This is Joey. Like, you had me at shit's really big over in Chult, and also souls are getting all gunked up in the works there. Like, that's Boss's reason to go over there, and that's Joey's reason to go over there. Hell yes, Joey is on board to head over to Chult.
Absolutely. And, it also doesn't have anything to do with the fact that the mouse that you're, commissioning on board the ship with happens to wield Black Razor. So, that's a shiny weapon. Speaking of weapons, there's a few other in play that we might hear about later. Joey, anything specifically other than, Big Monster Smash that you'd like to bring up as we head out? I think I lost my volume control, so you might need to mute me.
Hey, you're fine. No, I mean, Joey's really just trying to work out, like, what putting a dragon mask, which is some ridiculous artifact unknown power, into a sword actually can do. So, I mean, his time is pretty tied up into figuring out... really worked out into trying to figure out what it's possible to do. Probably, I would imagine, dueling both Chloe and Waverly, as Cyan Wrath tends to like duels throughout that travel.
And I feel that the big thing that Joey's going to take away is that your weapon, Cyan Wrath's wings, despite the power that you've been feeding it with, it still lacks a key ingredient. It still lacks a component that it has asked for that you haven't made good on yet. And...
Chloe, where's that fucking wizard?
Yeah, I mean, if I had my choice of things, it would be parents and then that wizard, because in a hierarchy of things that are fucking up multiple people's, Tiamat was number one. Number two is that stupid little wizard.
I feel
he might
Chloe...
be causing this Chult shit too, so like, shouldn't we chase him down?
This is more people are dying. Multiple people in the whole world, from what I understand, are dying. So that, unfortunately, takes priority over my vendetta and looking for our parents who haven't been looking for us forever.
Yeah, but they're like, they've already been dead once. Like, so they should be dead. Sorry, Ruqiyo. They should be dead. Like,
wow.
So, what?
Okay,
really?
I'm a paladin, so, like... I mean, I just don't believe in that, really. Like, I can bring people back, and if they're good, they need to be here.
You should talk to Dawn about how dead people should stay dead.
I don't need to... Dawn and I have talked as much as we're gonna talk, I feel like. I love Dawn. Like a brother, but like...
It might actually be an interesting, like, conversation.
I feel like we've both been through enough turmoil that we could wait a few months before we... You're like the Republican at my family gatherings, and I'm just like, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready.
So I do need to kind of ask, because I don't think we've heard Dawn's outro yet. Well, no, we heard Dawn's outro into Barovia.
He would definitely follow to Chult.
I was...
But the thing is, like, the Raven Queen, it's not so much death. It's, like, dying. Mm-hmm. And if it's their fate to be dead, then they should be dead. Like, being brought back to life, obviously there's stuff that they have yet to do. It's not their fate to be dead yet. Mm-hmm. But... So it's not so much like, once you're dead, you should stay dead. It's like, if you're supposed to be dead. Like, the big issue with the Raven Queen is a lot of, like, trying to cheat beyond your destiny. Like, once you hit that point where you're supposed to be dead, that's when you're supposed to be dead. You don't bring yourself back as a lich or a vampire or something else. You know,
Yes,
like
please
Like
come
the
on the boat.
exact time of the loan is not really the thing.
Yes.
It's just so that
It-
eventually you get
like
dead.
once your time is up, your contract is over.
It's the
That's when he comes for you.
it's it's the natural order of things, and this is not the natural
Yes.
order of things.
Sounds
Exactly.
good.
Yes, please come on the boat and discuss the chicken before the egg. For hours.
I don't want to be on that same boat.
So, as all that begins to happen, who am I missing? Am I just missing Telaise? Valandra?
I still haven't gone yet.
Yeah.
Mord, Telaise, Valandra.
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
Um,
Everybody steps back from the line. Mord's left standing forward.
crap. I didn't hear them say go. Yeah. So I think, as these first few months go by, and he doesn't know how long it will take, I think he's going to start trying to go back to the Dwarven lands to gather up those relics taken, or not relics, but the pieces of the Silver Dragon's niece.
Yep.
And trying to give them back to her as best as they can. Depending on how the timeline lines up, and if it takes a while, then he probably misses the opportunity, but he would be interested in going to Chult because he's had too much of people and needs more wilderness. But if the timeline doesn't match up for him to go to Chult with the other people who who were heading there, then I think after he does this task for the Silver Dragon, he just kind of disappears into the wilderness for a while.
Okay. So, Mord, I feel like this is going to take you some time. Certainly, and now you stay in touch, of course. There's sending, there's telepathy, that sort of stuff available. And as this is going on, you've gone through a number of dwarven holds, chasing down the last few scales. I mean, you are a thorough individual, and you put pride in your work. But I feel like just walking down the hall of a dwarven hold one day, you're just passing, dwarves on the left, dwarfs on the right. Some are in armor, some are, craftsfolk. And then the maybe third to fourth most excruciating pain you've ever felt in your life sprouts on your left foot. And you look down, and there's a very large warhammer across your toes, and you hear, "Morty, you son of a bitch! You said you were going to come get me!"
Oh, geez, well, I didn't think that you'd catch me this quickly.
So yeah, your foot's pretty well pinned there. Now you do know that Whelm has trouble with, no rock overhead. But I feel that he's going to demand an explanation as to why, you're not working with him to kill giants and defend dwarf kind. Word.
Okay. So after everything was finished, Mord was certain that he was taken off by this Mustachio.
Mustachio.
Or the Great Mustachio.
The Great Mustachio.
So he was gonna take care of some loose ends for a while, and then go pick up Whelm when he had the chance, or was thinking that even Whelm would be given back. So it actually came as a shock that that Whelm's literally lying on Mord's feet.
And the dwarf that was walking, past you is like, I'm so sorry. And he goes to pick up Whelm, and it's just like won't budge, like a Thor's hammer kind of situation. He's like, this never happens. I just give me a sec. I'm sure I can just roll it.
And then so Mord picks it up. I'm sure that he has like his glaive slung over his back, but then picks up Whelm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, we got a little bit more to do, but compared to spending hundreds of years in a tomb with a vampire, you're only going to get a few more, hopefully just another year of this before we can go giant hunting.
We can go giant hunting, Morty. Morty, are you gonna take me giant hunting?
Oh, I'm gonna take you to giant hunting.
Yeah.
And okay, so a bit of a behind the scenes thing here. I was thinking that the last thing that Mord would do in like 100 years would be to go ask Telaise to ask for Whelm back.
Mm-hmm.
And then like have his final hurrah be going all out giant killing for like a few days until he was finally killed.
Okay.
But I guess we're moving that timeline up a bit.
You can push that off. The Whelm operates on a different time scale. He's not mortal, so you could be like, "Yeah, I'll be right back," and come back 100 years later. He'd be like, "Thanks for coming right back." Except he does it in Whelm voice, which sounds like someone else when I can do it right, but I can't.
It does sound like someone else.
But I can't because I'm several bottles in.
No. But yeah, if he's literally right at his feet, he'll be like, every once in a while I'll take him out and go. I mean, might as well bring him with. He's a good companion.
Take him out for a run,
Yep. Take him out for a run every, 10 years.
Yeah, sounds good. So, with that, and I apologize for inserting that, I just want to, just check in.
No, absolutely.
It
was part of the plan. It was all part of the plan.
So with that, you probably do leave Whelm behind, because Whelm is a little... He's just not comfortable with all this, foliage above his head. That's not solid. That's not going to stop when the sun comes crashing down upon you.
Oh, right, the light sensitivity thing. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. So he just doesn't he doesn't trust the sky. That doesn't seem like good craftsmanship. So
too nebulous, too fluffy.
It's elven, really. I mean, it's just, look at that. You can't even see the support structure. Who's going to appreciate craftsmanship you can't see?
No one. That's who.
It's just sloppy. But what else we got? We got Telaise and Valandra, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and the music even shifted tune.
Well, this is Telaise music, no?
Oh, is this Telaise music?
I don't know. I can't hear it.
Slow and groovy.
It's sort of got a Telaise sort of. It's definitely more Telaise than a Valandra vibe, but
here, I'll find something else. Hold on.
First. It's like a doo-doo-doo.
There we go.
So, would you like to roll for who has first honors, or would you like to elect amongst yourselves?
I mean, I think
I think we're going to be ending up doing it together, aren't we?
Yeah, I think they're tied pretty well.
Also fine. Let's hear
our
what's
goals
going
are
on.
The same. We got to figure out what's happening, and we need to stop it. Are we going to go with Kuhloe to Chult?
Yeah, I mean, unless Telaise had something else in mind that was gonna be, trying to figure this out. If that keeps us with our siblings, Valandra would definitely be happy with that.
We'd probably stay with as much of our sibling group as possible, especially with Chloe's penchant for getting kidnapped to other dimensions.
Yeah, Valandra wants to keep an eye on as many of them as possible.
This seems fine.
Bad things seem to happen when she's not around.
Right.
As evidenced by me coming in an hour late here.
Let me just say, I'm pretty sure they were dead before the session started.
Well, Telaise was distracted. I mean, I'm sure it's loot that caused the death and not...
See,
one round difference. If you just got there one round earlier.
Well, we couldn't have gotten there one round earlier. We were destroying the horn.
She got Abu eyes, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
that mask of hers.
Yeah, it's
had-
totally just the mask.
Just what
If she hadn't been wearing it, she would have been like, well, shit. And then just kept going.
100% the mask, nothing else. So
I
yeah,
blame her giving in on the mask completely, because she would have been super tempted without it, but she's like, lava, fire, friends, no dying, gotta go.
So it does sound like eventually the majority of the party, perhaps all of the party, will head off to distant Schult to investigate the concerns with the flow of souls throughout the land and how that might be influencing their ability to recover loved ones. Now, along with the very personal loss of the sailor, the Sylvan, and the sea, the broader scope, hundreds and thousands of people died during the battle at the Temple of Tiamat, some of which were important enough or rich enough to afford a resurrection, and all of those failed as well. So this has become a worldwide concern. The Red Wizards of Thay similarly concerned because they very much like bringing things back from the dead. Fortunately, it does not seem to have affected the undead.
By the way, don't we have a head that we need to talk to?
Do you?
I believe we do.
Do have a head, I believe.
We have a head that we need to have a conversation with.
I don't recall it being mentioned in your outro, but I'm willing to hear this.
When you mentioned the Thay Wizards, I remembered our fight when we headed that motherfucker, and we were like, we're taking the head with us because we need to talk to it later.
Sure did.
And I just remembered it now.
and unfortunately, his soul is also unavailable to respond to you. So while you are able to reanimate the head, no soul manifests within it to consult with. It seems as though the troubles in Schult must be dealt with before you will be able to gain satisfaction from the Red Wizard Rathmodar, who has enslaved at least one of your parents.
To be fair, the spell specifically says it doesn't return the creature's soul to its body.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, that shouldn't affect that at all.
Ooh, I think you still need access to this soul.
It does not return the creature's soul to its body. It only its animating spirit, which would be like undeath.
And 1 second.
Hmm.
Corpse can't be undead. Corpses for I'm gonna say that falls within the death curse purview. Because I can't see how you would be like, I think you could end up with a gibbering head, but there's no intelligence within it.
Okay.
Because I feel it cannot bring back what it needs due to the effects of something, which is actually, for those of you who happen to know, the module Tomb of Annihilation. Now that one is a little bit lower level than your current characters, so I feel that perhaps a new band of adventurers will be needed to assist with the efforts while you deal with the larger issues. They can sneak in and do such things, so we'll see how that goes. Message deleted by moderator. What in the world?
It was spam.
Must they have said? Oh, spam. I was gonna say, how could they possibly get something in that we would edit? Tomb of Annihilation out there as a potential concern to be resolved. And would anybody else like to add any other outros or such things? Otherwise, we'll fall into total let's hang out, have fun, and talk about things that we like.
I want the story. Give me the story. Come on.
What story? The one that I put through the paper shredder?
Yeah.
It's already cross-cut?
I'm gonna get that story, whether it's on or off air. I'm gonna get.
It's cross-cut. Like, it's already in so many little pieces. I'd have to.
Oh, you just gotta start making the puzzle put together.
A lot of tape, some glue.
Come on, it's a puzzle, just like this family here. We all fit
Aw.
together.
Aw. So
Ugh.
again, though, thank you all for playing with me for 2 years or so. Off and on, this has been phenomenal. I'm very happy with how everybody has played through, and I'm going to miss playing with issue. I am going to be taking a break from Thursdays for a little while. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves about things to do. Eventually, I will be back on Thursdays, but I need to go bleh for a while. So that's my plan. But in the meanwhile, did anybody have any OOC things that they wish to talk about? I am going to go deaf for about 5 minutes. I don't wish to overshare, but I'm going to be making more room for bottles of liquid. So, that's my plan for the next 5 minutes. So if you wish to talk amongst yourself, feel free. I'll be back in 5.
Thomas, what the heck?
Yeah, what
Sorry.
happened, man?
Missed you.
I
Did you sleep?
yeah, I
You were
was
nap.
not. I set an alarm and it didn't wake me up. Apparently.
Typical Thomas.
Hey, Dawn/Athy, what, I mean, we're their sibling directly, so what did Kitty do?
Oh.
Dawn does not care. But I imagine she probably would have went to Chol, because supposedly I think that's where they were supposed to have been from.
Yeah, were
I
you
think
guys
that's-
interested in did you get any parental stuff? Because that's the story I'm bugging Kasey for, that he thought I was
No.
going to choose.
I don't know if Kitty did, but Dawn didn't care, because he's like, they were not here. They did not raise us. They didn't come for us. They may be dead. Like,
And if so, now they're not coming back.
yes,
Well,
now
we
they're
have
not
a
coming
room
back.
for that, though.
But he's just going on with his life. I imagine she would have, if not only because stuff is going wrong down there and she's a big bleeding heart, especially babies are not being born. I could see her being like, "Oh no, babies!" But yeah, I think Cholt is where Tabaxi are from, I think, in the realms. So it may have been a drawn for her, because unlike Dawn, she clung to a lot of Tabaxiness. And that
That's
is my
not
guess.
Kasey, question.
I assume you mean me because the other one's not
Yes. Was Ruqiyo going to be coming with all of us to Cholt, or were you staying at your tower and doing research?
here. But, guys, questions about the universe that need answering.
But if you die before you can answer them, that would be a problem.
Indeed. Okay, good point. All right, let's go.
Also, your girlfriend went, right?
Yeah, your girlfriend went.
So, we're not connected at the hip.
This is true. That's really more of the sisters. They're connected.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Dependent
But-
relationship.
Pretty
But before
much.
we get
To
too
be
far,
fair,
guys,
Valandra's 15.
I'm
legit.
still amazed that out of the entire family, Valandra's the one Dawn gets along with the best.
I
She's his
do
favorite sister.
appreciate that.
She's his favorite sister. I mean, and there is theoretical hope that, you could rekindle whatever morality he may have lost.
Mm,
Not in
Uh,
Jolt.
no. But, I mean, the possibility is theoretically there, but currently he's just kind of like...
So yeah, the next two adventures, quote unquote, would be Cholt and Barovia, and you're not finding morals in either of those places.
Hey, Telaise is like, as long as we're not going to, whatever.
I'm back.
Oh, that was not 5 minutes.
I'm sorry.
That was very quick.
I leaked quickly.
You could have said it way less obviously. I'm just letting you know that.
I mean, I thought
Okay.
it was
I don't
pretty
think you did
obvious
it.
to begin with.
Okay, look. My subtlety level decreases as my amount of liquid intake increases. So, there's that. I've switched to passion fruit mango Seagram's Escape because the game took its toll on me.
I believe it's pronounced escape.
Escape?
Escape. Boy, that spelled an awful lot like escape.
It is.
Fragile.
Must be Italian.
Nice.
I'm kind of digging this boat to Cholt now. God, this is the first time that we've, like, actually been able to, like... I mean, yes, this is important. Yes, get there quickly, but... First time we've been able to breathe, process, without go, 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 go.
Oh yeah, absolutely nothing would happen to a boat on the open water.
Kasey, I know you ain't got that shit prepared. So, like...
What's that? Tomb of Annihilation? I've got that. You want to go? I'll go.
Now.
I want my backstory.
It's lower levels, so we gotta blitz it all at once.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, did we level? I feel like we should be 15 now. I think we earned
I
15.
agree. I think we should at least be 15 at this point.
Did you
with all
level?
the
What?
bad
You guys,
shit that
we
did.
leveled like 3 times in 4 sessions. It's
No,
okay.
we just defeated Tiamat. I think we leveled.
Telaise, control your boyfriend.
Fine. I feel it's appropriate that you do take a level if you wish to.
Yay! No takes
That
back.
seems appropriate.
For such time, if ever, that we get to pick these guys up and take them on their journey.
Or even just like a later one-shot, even if it's not Tomb of Annihilation.
Sure.
A one shot with high level characters. Yes, please.
Oh god, yes, let's do
Yes.
that. I wanna fuck
Ooh.
shit up.
So
What? Okay, one shot with high level
I've had time
characters.
to actually like work myself into and not just go make a 15 level character and remember what they can do. Oh,
That fucking that.
Yes.
So what
We're
we
level
will
15?
Like ride the
I-
Pegasus.
You're level 15.
Sure are.
sounds legitimate. What will probably happen is I do need a few months to let my brain go bleh. During those few months, I will be starting up a Ravenloft campaign on every other Monday night. We will have a few guest spots available there, depending on how that actually goes, because the concept was really good in my head. Didn't work so well the first time I tried it with other people. And we'll see how that goes. Once that's through, I would like to run a Storm King's Thunder and then a Tomb of Annihilation. And probably what would happen is, as the Tomb of Annihilation situation comes to a close, there would be room for a high-level one-shot, 2 to 4 shot, because they never work out in one session. So that's probably a few months plus away. But do please keep your characters in mind, because I would like to see them come back.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this voice. I was complaining about it at work all week. I don't know what to do with Chloe. She comes out when I get angry at work now, and now she has no place.
That's amazing.
All of a
Sucks.
sudden, Queens happens.
So
People gotta get their coffee.
so on the note of things that I did have kicking around in my head, I guess I could piece back together some of the cross-cut
Yes,
shredded
get that shredder.
documents. Telaise and Valandra, we did play through the vast majority of the concepts that I had for your little backstory set, which was the sailor, the sailor, the Sylvan, and the sea. It gets harder to say the more I drink. And the end of which is that the three do need to kill one another to fulfill the requirements of the different pacts they belong with, which leaves you in the situation that you're with right now. Dawn and Dusk were actually kind of heading in the direction of the story that I had for those two, which revolved around the disagreement between the Tabaxi and the Rakasha. The Tabaxi being the purer cat-like version, the Rakasha being the infernal influenced version of them, taking a little liberty with the backstory there. I think in 5e they started out fiends. In my version, I'm going to have them started off normal, led into fiends. So that's that set right there. The Mousefolk Waverly descended from on high. We realized from a group of Mousefolk that inhabit the castles of cloud giants and other such things. So she was a foundling and has risen to prominence, taking the place of not quite the sailor, because you don't take the place of someone else's title, but similar to how there was the captain, there was the sailor, there is now the scoundrel, which Mustachio has taken the title of. So that is sort of the storyline that I had in mind for
That's
our
the most
mouse.
adorable fucking thing I've heard. Like, oh god. Oh, that makes my heart so happy that Waverly's on the sea.
So Waverly is on the sea. Now, Waverly is not the sailor or the captain, so Waverly does not confine oneself to the sea. Waverly is the scoundrel. Waverly, as Mustachio, could appear anywhere, so long as they are taking from those with more and giving to those with less. Mustachio themselves often has less than certain other people, so therefore it would help to balance the scale to take some from Mustachio.
Of course, you roll that after the campaign, Jacob.
Right?
Yep.
That perfect.
I finally get a 12 for hit die instead of 1, 2, or 3.
But such things. Now for Mord, who was a recent addition, I did very much enjoy the Rick and Morty sort of take that we ended up with Whelm there. So and the interplay with the family. I very much liked Mord stepping up to face down his family there. Ruqiyo, Ruqiyo, I tried a bunch of things to reel Ruqiyo in and tie him down, and Ruqiyo just kept springing off in a different direction. So I feel like that's maybe Rukiyo's thing, is that you just can't keep a wildfire in one pasture. They're just gonna keep jumping fences.
Wild
stallions.
I
So
can't believe I said that. It's so beautiful and terrible.
It is that thing. So I am very happy that Ruqiyo has found someone to roam with. So that's cool. Let's see here. How many other people can I mention before I get around to talking about Joey and Kuhloe? Ruby, the half-orc from El Terrell.
Rudy?
Ruby, the half-orc from El Terrell. No.
I love
So as far as Joey and Kuhloe go, I think that the party has come into enough power that there is divinations that can be cast, and legend lore and other such things that can be employed to look into their background and answer the question finally as to whether they are siblings or not. And I think it does turn out that they do share parents, at least 6 of them.
What?
What? That's not the right number.
A barrel?
That's not the right number at all.
Usually don't need that many.
Fine number.
No, well, it does seem that upon further investigation, Joey and Kuhloe are not entirely of natural birth. No,
Clones.
no, nothing so rudimentary
Test
as
tube
clones.
babies.
Well, sort of. I think maybe Dawn might make the comparison, because Dawn did spend a lot of time in Barovia and has been an acquaintance of a mongrel person or two. And, of course, you would have seen the tremendous flesh golem made of component parts, and then sort of applying that to Joey and Kuhloe. You're like, oh, yes, well, if the art were perfected, you might end up with something like that. They certainly share parents because they share parts. Joey and Kuhloe are not quite constructs. They are half orc and half a few other things. Now,
That's creative flexion usage.
As to why they are the way they are, I believe that would need some additional research. Unfortunately, they're on a boat headed in the wrong direction.
Oh,
So,
really?
Joey and Kuhloe are indeed brother and sister. They share parents, just not in the traditional way.
I feel like we super need to fucking kill that wizard and then talk to him, or talk to him and then fucking kill that wizard.
God, it has nothing to do with this, Joey.
Yeah, but he's got shit.
He is an expert in such fields, and for some reason, a patron identified him, Joey, as significant.
We should fucking kill him.
Should go talk to him.
Murder him, yes.
Gonna talk to him first.
Murder him.
I'll be damned if we don't get answers to this after all this time.
There was something that seemed familiar about him. He does have your nose. Or perhaps you have his.
Sweet Jesus. I'm sorry, I'm talking in Kuhloe. Sweet Jesus, Kasey. I will murder Dwayne. He's gone now. Him and his creepy spider horse mount.
Oh, no! Not Penelope!
You connect me to that creepy wizard child that I've wanted to kill since he put me in a bubble.
Oh, the hero Wallace. Wallace the wizard.
Interesting.
Wallace and his pet bear. Sorry. I'm using myself at this point. Would anybody else like to say something so I can be quiet, please?
Aw,
Stop
tattoo
you.
babies.
Aww.
Yeah,
Little
you're not
babies.
excited about that.
Little babies, you're so cute, you little babies. Yeah, that's interesting. Not what I was expecting at all. I don't know what information.
It took me a long time to think of something that you would not know what to do with.
Oh.
And so I'm kind of proud to hear that.
Well, I'm also angry, which I'm sure you're also proud of.
I'm
at the
super
Wallace
happy
comment.
about that.
Yeah.
So happy. Like, I was like, I could go twins. I'm like, no, she expects that. I could go not twins. No, they expect that. I'm like, how do I go twins and not twins at the same time? Component pieces!
Yeah, make them not real people. Not really.
Oh god, do we have identity crisis now?
We do. Yes, we do.
Did they have scars, weird scars as children that may have faded as they got older that made them look like they were put together? Or
So
something like
here's
that?
a question.
Would Dawn have made this connection?
Well,
to bring it up?
Here's one that I'm not sure that I've ever super gotten a detailed answer about. I know that orcs, flat out orcs, are all about scarification. I know that Joey spent a lot of time in places where tattoos and scarification would certainly have been popularized. Kuhloe, I don't think so, but I've never asked in detail, do they have scarification / tattoos?
No. Kuhloe has been described as having mottled skin, and she's about adornment.
When you say mottled, would a synonym for that be patchy?
Just because it might help you, no. Like large freckles. It's hard to see on her, like the picture that is on her thing, but like it's not. Forget what is it called, the skin thing where like there are larger patches of their skin that are different. Thank you.
No.
I feel like you just used the word you were trying to avoid when trying to avoid
But
the
I didn't
word.
say patchy. Patchy
You
would
said
be a
patches.
consistent. There are patches.
I feel like patches is almost worse than patchy. So I'm kind of picturing a Raggedy Andy sort of effect right now.
Kasey, put down the peach.
It's
Or the escape.
passion fruit at the moment, and it's below the label, so
Yay. Yeah, no like scars, no scar. I definitely wouldn't do any scarification. She doesn't understand that.
yeah. So yeah, no, it just looks like, you know, certain areas of her body have different colored skin. Someone's a very good seams person.
There are no distinct stitch marks or like scars in there though. It is skin color alone.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, scars, like, if she was a baby, and then, like, the scars, like, you probably won't even notice after a while.
Dawn, you're looking at me weird. I don't like the way you're looking at me, Dawn. Dawn's getting a little too close during them fucking armor changes now. Like that information has been
adjusting his glasses, like,
You're creeping me out, Dawn. Stop it.
It all makes sense now.
It got weird ever since you started burning your spur off.
Sure it happened before that.
Look, you're patchy, I'm patchy, it's fine. Now Mord's patchy too, it's fine.
We're all patchy. But Mord has been using his eagle eyes ever since Dawn said that to be like, are there any scars?
Son of a bitch.
I mean, there are 100% scars. Chloe's not lived an unadventurous life, but
there's scars and then there's seams.
There are no seams. Yeah, there are no seams, for sure.
So, either she's not an assembly of other creatures, or somebody knew what they were doing. Perhaps if Dawn were to investigate by, you know, putting together a few creatures of their own, they could find out if it could be done without seams. I'm sure
Construct is not undead, technically.
that is very true.
So.
And there's an abbot in Barovia that would be happy to help you learn the art.
I mean, he already uses, like, body parts as components. It's like...
It's just a matter of getting the stitch work, you know, nice and tight. What you want to do is you want to...
Zombies and skeletons are tools. Their souls aren't there, they're just animated junk.
Just puppetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically what you want to do is you want to put together the person while they're inside out, and then reach down inside them and turn them right side out, and that hides most of the seams.
Mord's now looking for strings on people.
There are special stitches in which you don't have to do that.
I'm very much not a seams person, so I'm just going by what my wife makes me do.
Yeah, you're not a seams person. You're pulling at threads here, Kasey.
I just
Drink.
I'm out of drink. It's no
I'm
more
very
drink.
low.
I'm also out of drink.
I got one more left in this bottle, then I gotta go fetch another one. So, does anyone else wish to address things or ask things as we start to wrap on our session?
So this is a little out of character, but I definitely wanted to take a moment to thank y'all for letting me game with you, because I know you didn't know me, and I had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate how well some of you can hold on to accents. Oh my god, it's so impressive.
Right?
Dude, I've really like, I know it's a Sovereign 7, but every time I watch that thing, I kind of want to have like the floating ball heads of Ruqiyo and Mord, like, just and them, featuring them, like special guest stars on the, family ties song or
You know what?
something.
If you let me, next time.
Yes, just write you in there. I'll just floating head, Ruqiyo, wink. Mord with hair, without hair, who knows?
Who knows?
First one, then to other.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks too. I mean, I know that I came in as like, hey, it's the day before, and Thomas texted me and was like, hey, we need some people to help us with a dungeon. Can you like roll up a tanky character and help us out? It's
I
like,
love it.
yeah,
It's like,
sure, why
tanky
not?
though, tanky.
Yeah, and it's been fun playing with you guys. I haven't had a whole lot of chances to play, and so I think this is one of the first times I've actually been able to play D&D.
As opposed to DMing, he's my DM in a couple other games.
Oh, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
It is so hard when you get stuck into the I am the DM friend. Like,
Yeah,
Peter
I've
always has to DM.
had that issue.
Well, I'm very, very happy to have you all as players, and I do look forward to having you all as players again after a little break.
Yeah,
I get
Jacob,
that.
I am glad you went with Mord and not your ranger, I think.
Yeah, it was a ranger.
I can't see anyone but Mord. Like, I can't. He got shit done. He just like he was just like this bulldozer of a dwarf, just getting shit done everywhere, left and right. It was great.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
Yeah, the number of
Mord took care
bosses
of
that
shit.
you killed.
Honestly, like Kuhloe was like Maud, like eye to eye thing with the eyes pointing at my eyes and then pointing at your. Like, I see you, I get you. The loot thing, like she's been trying to explain this shit to her family forever, and the whole loot doesn't really doesn't matter all that much. And Mord said it so succinctly, as Telaise is behind him or in front of him, scooping shit into a bag.
Yep, Mord goes to destroy the Drakhorn, and Telaise is there like, hey Vrock, go and pick him up, please. Scooping. Yeah,
Rock.
And by the way, a quick mention, Kitty/Dusk. I'm very sorry that you couldn't join us. I did very much enjoy having you in as a player, and I'm not quite drunk enough to forget to say this, but I'm drunk enough to be able to say it. I absolutely was thrilled by the enjoyment of your voice every time your turn order came up. Like, you were just freaking happy to punch stuff every time. Like, I enjoyed everybody else playing, but I'm sorry, I'm going to play a little bit favorite here. I was definitely waiting for Kitty's turn to come up, because every time I knew she was going to punch something, and I knew she was going to be happy about it. Like, some of the other folks, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. But when Kitty's turn came up, I'm like, it's going to be a punch, and she's going to sound happy about it. Roger.
3
Nice
to 4 punches with some numing.
A little, possibly a neum, but almost invariably a punch. Like,
Or
the
a
one or two
cuddle.
times she was like, I'm going to throw a dart, I'm like, oh, now I'm sad. So, there's that. And Jessie with Waverly also, huge thumbs up. And
Oh, the little PJs for the mouse.
Waverly was such a joy.
yes.
Oh,
So,
the little mouse
Waverly.
PJs. Oh God, Waverly.
yeah.
Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm pretty sure that was the character I fell in love with the hardest, the fastest. Like, what a perfect character. Just
was
fully realized right out the gate.
yeah, it was really, really good. And by the way, I do appreciate all the players rolling with all the nonsense that happened to you throughout the last 2 years. Yes, I was 100% picking on certain ones of you at certain times. I'm hoping I did manage to spread the which one I was picking on around a little bit. Definitely Waverly was being picked on for certain things. Telaise was being picked on for certain other things. Chloe, I was just like, I'm gonna stick you in a hole for a while. Joey, I was like, I'm gonna give you a really obstinate sword. And Mord, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a super powerful weapon that you can't take outside, and then I'm gonna take that away from you. And Ruqiyo, I'm like, I'm gonna give you a love interest that you just don't want. And then Valandra, I'm like,
I don't
I'm
want.
gonna. What's that?
I do not want.
Do not want. I mean, you could have been nobility, like stand up proper, leading a city, but you're like, no, and then you said a thing, and I'm like, really? People say that? And I was like,
People don't.
I'm
People
pretty sure a
don't.
person did, and therefore people do.
They did, but real people don't.
And as you were saying it, Bill and Ted were in the background, like fist pumping in the air, wild stallions. So there's that. And Valandra, I did kill your mom like 6 times on screen.
You did.
And
Wrong.
and then Dawn, I'm like, you're never gonna have fur.
Well, I
So-
mean, Dawn made that move in the beginning by staring down your dragon, and then you're like, you.
Yeah, I feel like it was all tit for tat. There was, a back and forth thing. You kind of killed all my bad guys and gals, so that happens.
The roughest for me was when we went through the Doom Vault, blitzed through in one day, almost died so many times, and then could do almost nothing for why we came in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, that was tough.
I'm glad that banishment worked, because if that at least hadn't worked, that would...
You did everything you possibly could, and unfortunately, the sailor, the Sylvan, and the sea was written as a tragedy. So, you were seeing through to the end the tragedy of their story.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah,
we'll see.
because you know what happens in comedies? Sometimes people die and come back to life, and then they all get married.
That's very true. A little
Wonderful
weird in
woman
this particular
Shakespeare.
situation, but very true.
I mean, have you read Shakespeare? Because I was literally talking about a Shakespeare play that actually does that.
Roger Dodger.
It's legit.
Kasey, question. Did we ever, after the battle, did we find out at all what happened to Meridia?
Meridia is lost to this plane at this point. Meridia has given her, until player tells me otherwise, or we resolve. Meridia gave herself over to the Fae entirely. Yeah, you would be able to research this. Basically allowing Telaise's mother back onto this plane to assist in the fight against Valandra's mother. So the sailor, the Sylvan being sailor and Silver being Telaise's mother and father. Telaise's mother, one of the Elven who is heavily to the Fae side, thus Telaise's preference to the Fae. Could possibly be Eladrin. I didn't quite lock it down stat-wise. But Meridia went to fetch her, and that was basically where the others were. So Waverly went to fetch the sailor, Meridia went to fetch the Sylvan, and the sea was already there via Rathmodar's command. So that was the 3 brought together so they could end their story and their compunction to fight. They are now free of that compunction. If you are able to recover them, they will not be forced into battle once more.
Whatever happened to that little Dusk's friend? I don't remember his name.
Harry?
Harry that Dawn had planned on murdering a long time ago. It just
And
never
you
got.
never got around to it.
Okay, if
You got
Dawn's
busy.
searching Chloe for scars, Chloe is watching Dawn to make sure she doesn't murder and destroy her sister's pet.
So Harry is air quotes fine. He is a kobold, so he was under the influence of Tiamat as she came back. Harry has basically replaced Tiamat with Dusk as his center of worship. So Dusk gets all the attention that a dragon normally would. And unfortunately or fortunately, I feel that Dusk's character just can't help but encourage it. So there's like a feedback loop going on in there.
Yeah,
Whatever
Dusk
makes
is
him
for sure
happy.
an
If
enabler.
that's what makes him happy, then she's gonna encourage it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's I don't want to say codependence because I'm not good enough with psychology to say the right word for that. But
mean
whatever
enabler?
whatever that feedback loop is that's happening, it's probably borderline unhealthy. But since they're both okay with it, maybe it's not.
Borderline unhealthy in this party?
Licenses
That's
taken.
unheard of. We're so
Licenses taken.
mentally well.
So Harry will have survived basically amongst the several pets slash people that Dusk has following her about. Harry is one of those. Thousands of kobolds died on the slopes of this space, but Harry was on the lucky side. Most of those from Greenest survived. Leosin was the only one who was air quotes captured. And Onthar's like, yeah, I think that's just his thing. He likes being a damsel. So
Oh, now we know something about their love life we didn't know
yeah,
before.
it just seems to be like just like a yay, you rescued me sort of thing.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna kink shame, so.
Right?
Yeah. So there's that. The dragons, there were many casualties, but the 5 of the council did survive, and will have spoken with you there.
And those masks?
Say it again.
Masks though? Them
Uh,
masks though?
1 of which were eaten, 4 of which are not mentioned afterwards.
But they took the masks?
They did take the masks,
Okay.
and they have too many bottles in. What is it? We have top people working on it. Top people.
men.
Top men.
Men.
Sorry. So top dragons are working on it. Top dragons.
Been 2 years. Like, I can't get over that this isn't gonna be like Thursdays. Tyranny Thursdays has been the thing for so long.
Wild.
Even though there was a gap in there for me, like I was in a bubble, things in real life were happening, but like it's always Tyranny Thursday. I miss playing with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss you too.
I was like tearing up at the song playing on the intro, the Sovereign 7 theme. I'm gonna put all that stuff up on the YouTubes, and I'm gonna try and edit some of character intros and outros together for a final little thingy, but it probably won't be up for.
Oh, that'd be really cool. You gotta ping us all.
I hope like everybody that's in this game, and I don't know, probably not Mord Ruqiyo specifically, but I hope that you guys jump in other games, other characters.
How do you do that with this setup?
Everybody's friendly. Maybe not Sovereign 7 friendly, but, you know, everybody on the server is pretty... Oh, actually, got pretty lucky there.
God, yeah, session 0 was February 15th, 2008.
Oh my god. It
You cut out
that.
Telaise. What do you say?
doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah, it feels like it's only been like, maybe
Maybe
a year and
yeah, maybe a year.
maybe a couple months more, but yeah, 2 years and 3.5 months. Ooh.
It
Yeah,
is.
you're saying that, and I'm like, it was like yesterday that we were pitching the idea of you're all going to be orphans and how ridiculous that would be, right?
Right?
Like that's the dumbest idea. Let's see if we can make it work.
And then we did make it work.
You did.
And
I'm like,
honestly,
wow.
I think that was probably one of the best background ideas I've ever heard to get people to be in a group together.
Yeah, because a lot of times you see people in a group together and like, there's no real reason that they're in a group besides that their players want to play together.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, we can all have different personalities and different races, different classes.
We can
motivations.
keep Dawn and Chloe in the same group because they fucking love each other because they're family.
Family.
Battle-wise,
And
we couldn't have been further away from each other, nor alignment-wise.
And I do like that you all sort of outgrew the orphanage, but you outgrew it together. Like that was pretty cool. And for those coming in, our add-on characters, they've been tied in very well. Like, the little bit of forced, camaraderie in the first session or two, but then you all tied in as real people, real fake people, fake real people.
Yeah, I like long ago when we started the Sovereign 7, I saw the final, because I've played through this campaign once before, and I saw the final battle, but like having done it with Mord Ruqiyo, like that last session, not this one, but the one before, I know I said it already, but like every single one of us played their characters on the battlefield like so fucking perfectly. It was beautiful. Kyle and I were talking about that session for like 3 hours after. Like we were trying to go to bed and we just kept reminiscing like how cool was that? Fucking Mord was handling his shit down there and getting blasted in the face, and Valandra's like, I have so many people to heal, I can't. And like and Telaise was just like, how can you come here? You get over here. Just like supporting everybody. Ruqiyo is like, there's one over there. There's one over there. It was just it was poetic.
It was a good fight. It was really good.
It was so good. And like it would have been almost impossible without any one of us.
Right? Like
Yes.
The team worked perfectly together.
Oh, and just as a peek behind the curtains kind of thing, the only tweak to that battle, just because of the number of people you were, was that I held the two white dragons, the white dragons and his simulacrum, till the battle start. So everything else inside was very, very close to book rules. So well done. You did legitimately do the campaign. Like, no softball pitches. If anything, it was maybe a little hardball. It threw the
Mord
heat.
took 300 damage plus in that fight.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mord couldn't
Oh,
kill you.
Mord.
It
So
was
hard to kill.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's gone down like once, maybe twice before, but oh boy.
That was a good fight.
Also, holy crap, Severin did so much damage. As in, he had the potential to do so much damage. He missed almost every attack.
He
but
missed
he
so
could do
much.
so much damage.
It was killing me that Telaise ended up picked on a little bit in that fight, but not because I was picking on Telaise, because Severin couldn't freaking hit Valandra, and she was the only other one in range. I'm like, he's like throwing huge balls of fire at the little girl, and the little girl's just laughing at him. All right, I'm gonna aim at the bigger girl.
Which is more hilarious because she obviously wasn't dodging them. Her dex doesn't play into her armor class.
Yeah, it was just like
They were just
all right,
hitting her and doing nothing.
just useless. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna aim at the other one. And
thank God I had all of those hit point boosts, or I would have died so
Yeah,
fast.
Yeah, Telaise, you took a lot of damage.
I took a lot of damage.
You ran in a lot farther than I was expecting. Like I was sort of expecting like a steady advance, maybe some strikers moving around. Telaise was like zoom. I'm like,
Okay, you brought
really?
2 dragons on top of me. I'm gonna get as far away from them and their breath weapons as I can.
Yeah, I was sort of like, I don't know. I was like, well, maybe they'll hide behind doorways and sort of bottle up at the doorway. Instead, you two were like, boom. I'm like, oh, I guess that works too. But I had fun with it.
Yeah, I am very glad that I managed to get that amulet of health for
Yes.
Telaise. Because there was that one crit where you took like 80 damage, right?
Yeah.
That seems right.
There are a couple of biggies in there.
Which I think would be more than your regular hit points, or very close to it.
And just as a FYI, the FYI, I think you were like, it was either 12 or 13 hit points on that guiding bolt away from having 2 of Tiamat's head in there. So Thomas, that guiding bolt that took out that wizard, I was like, be less than 40, and then you were like 53, and I'm like, oh, suck it. Damn. So close.
I was not expecting that. I usually don't manage to do much at range.
Yeah, that
I was like, damn it, I can't reach him. Well, I've got the one spell. Fuck it,
Yeah.
like 5th level.
yeah. Chloe and Joey had disrupted a lot of the spell casting, moving around and taking them down as they do. But it got down to the point where I had two that were set up there, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get 2 of Tiamat's heads in. This is gonna wreck shop. And then you get that guiding bolt. I'm like, man. And it was like the initiative turn before, like he just needed his turn to do his part, and then you dropped him, and I'm like, oh. But
Yeah, I was looking at sending you a little Tiamat figure because you didn't get to play with the real one. I thought you should play with one at least.
No, that is quite all right. She is ridiculous via stats, but I got the one redhead in there and got to torch things, so that was fun.
Well, she ain't nothing for the Sovereign Seven and their extended family.
That's very true. you gatekeepered her.
And on that note, I think I'm gonna stop the stream.
Yep.
I work in hours, 6.5 hours.
Lord, go to sleep. Holy crap.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
good night, Twitch, and thanks everybody.
Please don't disappear.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Thanks,